for 10 minutes, and then we break for 5 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
Hit it hard for 10 minutes, break for 5 minutes. Because you know what? Your voice is a muscle. These are muscles. When you guys work out, right? When you work out, you do the reps, right? And at the end of the reps, what happens? Your muscles, they get tired and they fail. That's what happens when you yell and scream. Your muscle gets tired, and so you gotta let it rest for a minute. Just like when you're doing reps. Take a minute, do another set of reps, right? So that's the way we record Broly now. We literally hit him for about 10 minutes, and then we break for 5 minutes. It's you know, it's necessary because he's a ripper.
Red shirt on the far side?
Red shirt, you're beaming down.
All right.
Spawn, meet me in the transport room.
Your first ever job, was it nervous, and how did you feel? Like for your first professional, role.
How did you feel?
Nervous?
How'd you feel?
How
Oh,
did you feel?
nervous.
Your feelings going?
What was it like your first time?
So many work on it. I suppose I probably was nervous. Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. You want to, just like anybody else, you want to do your best, you want to please, you want to perform, you want to make sure they're happy.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
Something's being blue.
Yes.
The session lasts more than 4 hours.
It's all the same, really.
When she's ready, you'll be ready.
Exactly.
Sorry, Quinn.
No worries. It's all good. It's all the same. It's all the same. Only the names have changed. Yeah. You're nervous. Sure, of course you are. It's a new gig, and it's a first gig, and you want to do your best, and you want to be asked back, and you have the fears of, am I going to be replaced? I hope I'm not, and I hope I do my best.
My first gig, I was probably 16. It was a cartoon I did in high school, Mr. T cartoon. And I don't think I had enough understanding of the situation to be as scared as I probably would have been. But it was really just about reading the lines and trying to get comfortable in this strange environment with a microphone in my face. I think I spent more of my energy trying to figure out what I was doing, and that kept me from perhaps being as nervous as I thought. And plus there were a bunch of us who were all kids who were all doing it for the first time. And we were also doing it badly, but we didn't know it at the time.
Doing it for the first time?
Do it for the first time. All right, you guys, I wasn't nervous because I didn't think anything would ever come of it. It was the weirdest thing, and it wasn't at a high level of, you know what I mean? It wasn't like you're in LA and you're doing the thing. I was in Houston, and I was working on a video production with a friend of mine named John Grimion. He's done a lot of voice work over the years, and he said, hey, you've got a lot of acting experience, don't you think? And I'm like, yeah. He said, you ought to go and audition for this place in town. They dub these Japanese animated shows into English, and they need voice actors. They need actors. They're looking for actors. And I was like, really? In Houston? That's kind of fun. That sounds fun. I didn't know, do they sell them? I don't even know what they do with them once we're done with them. But that seemed like it would be fun. So I went in and I auditioned for this role and got cast, and it was in Vega in Street Fighter II. And so I did it, and I thought, well, that was fun. Weird, and but fun, and I never thought anything would come of it. And then a few weeks later, they were working on another show, and they asked me to come in and do something on that. And even then, for months, I had no idea, well, what do they even do with this once we finish recording them? I assume they sell them. They gotta pay for this equipment somehow. Right, I don't even know what they did with it. I never saw it on any shelves or anything. But I just kept doing it. And occasionally they would give us VHS cassettes of our work. VHS. You know it's professional now. And so I just did it for months and months and never really even thought about it. So it wasn't as nervous because I didn't really even think anything would come of it. That's why I'm always very, very, I don't want to wax religious here, but I'm going to anyway. That's why I'm always very, 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 very quick to give all the credit to God for whatever opportunities I have in voice acting. Because I didn't plan it, I didn't beat the pavement, knock on doors and study it, right? I just kind of stumbled into it. It was a door that opened and I kind of haphazardly stepped into it, and it turned into one of the greatest blessings of my life, thanks to you guys. So that's why I always make sure to give credit where credit is due.
Wait, I hear a voice.
We've already picked someone.
Where are you? I can't see you.
She's got the red hair.
Oh, there you are.
Stand on the chair!
I'm sorry.
She is tiny though. I'm so sorry.
First of all, I love Axel.
Thank you.
Okay, and then second, when you were recording Axel for Kingdom Hearts, was there any like funny mess ups in the studio or anything? Or?
There were comedy hijinks all the time.
Did they ensue?
They always ensue. Yeah, I mean, you know, we would listen to the music in the room. It's magic in the air.
That's the loudest number I've ever.
Yeah, you know, of course, I would stumble over words here and there, and sometimes I would drop the F-bomb occasionally. And they would laugh, and then I would insert other words here and there and phrases, you know, because you're going along, and all of a sudden you realize you're screwing it up. So if you're going to screw up, you might as well screw up big.
Yeah, I always want to meet you, so thank you.
Well, thank you. Come up and say hello after the panel.
Reacher? No, your ass was way too loud in the line. I can't Not you. You know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. We'll get to you in a second.
This is perfect. Could you yell Mon Ami in Tommy's voice?
You want to hear something funny about that word? When we were recording that, you guys, if you remember the original Japanese, the voice actor, he was like, Kyoya, my friend, Monami. Monami? No, Monami. But they were doing this rhythm thing, and he wanted to, you know, they were keeping in the rhythm, and so he said it wrong. So we spent 15 minutes trying to decide if I should do it like him, or if we should do it the way you would normally say the word. So we ended up doing it the way you should say the word. So it's like, Monami! Thank you, sweetheart.
Should we pick your friend from the line?
All right, the short one. Stand up. You're gonna regret that tomorrow, believe me, I know.
$5, you ain't got an actual question.
I was going to say, was that the question?
How did it feel yesterday to introduce William Shatner onto stage?
Oh my gosh. I introduced Phil Shatner.
Did you really?
Oh, I did. Oh, I did. You guys, can I tell? Do you mind if I answer that question?
You got to.
I always feel awkward when we're on group panels because I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want it to take too much time away from. But you guys who don't know, I'm one of the biggest Star Trek fans ever. Original series, all original series. And let me just take a minute to make a shameless plug. We're getting ready to shoot our first episode of a web series called Star Trek Continues. It literally picks up immediately where the last episode of the original series left off, and I'm playing Captain Kirk. I'm excited. I can't wait. But we've got all actors playing the roles, whereas a lot of fan films are just kind of fans, just kind of doing the thing, and a lot of times they're kind of like not in good shape to be wearing a uniform, if you know what I mean? Being delicate, but we're all of us are actors, and to get you really kind of jazzed, who knows who played Scotty in the original series? James Doohan. Guess who's playing Scotty in our series?
His son.
Chris Doohan, his son. And when he was a little boy, his dad took him to the sets when he was working. So it's just really neat, right? And then all of you guys that are Mythbusters fans, Grant Imahara from Mythbusters is playing Sulu. We've got a great cast. Now the funny thing is, Bill Shatner and I have become, and he literally asked me to call him Bill. So I'm nerding out inside. And we've done probably 7 or 8 events together now. And as these guys will tell you, when you're a guest, you're like a peer with these other people that you've loved their work for years. But you don't dare let on that you're a fan, because then they'll, stay as far away from you as possible. So imagine being at events with Bill Shatner and literally sitting like this privately at dinners and chatting with him. And like, let's trade places and let's say I'm Bill and you're me. He'll be talking, he'll be telling me things, and then he'll go, and he'll reach over and he'll put his hand on my arm, and I'm going, he's touching me. The hand that held the phasers is touching me. He flipped over to communicate with that hand. So you can imagine, guys, here's the best part. And all the times I have hung out with him now, and there have been several, and we go to like dinner together privately at conventions and hang out. And I've never even mentioned the word Star Trek.
You're gonna keep it off.
Let's stop it.
Turn it off.
It's coming over the sound system. It's Shatner. He found us. I'm sorry, Bill. I knew that was coming. So anyway,
Is it really coming?
It sounds like it is. Let's listen for 1 minute. Everybody be quiet. It's coming through the sound system. Love it. Special surprise guest, Bob Marley.
Wait. Did you tell him about the web series?
No, are you kidding? He would run. Okay, so I'm sorry. You start talking Star Trek. I get all excited and I get distracted. So yesterday, I introduced him 2 weeks ago at the Ottawa Comic-Con. We were at together. Now the funny thing about that was that they needed me to stall for some time, and so they asked me, his manager, who also reps me, said, hey, can you stall for time? Go up there and talk to them or something. And I said, well, what do you want me to do, stall for time? What do you mean? And he said, I don't know, sing something. And I looked at Bill Shatner, I'm like, he wants me to sing something. And Bill was like, so I went up on stage, and the tech crew actually they were the same tech crew that was with us in Montreal a few weeks earlier. And the guy said, hey, I've got the Dragon Ball Z Kai theme that you sing. You want to do it? And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, sure. It was like 30 seconds, right? It's just a little opening song. So I sang it, and while I was doing it, Shatner was in the back, in the wings, listening to it. And as soon as I finished, I'm like, all right, let's talk about why we're all here. Please welcome the greatest starship captain in the Star Trek universe, Mr. William Shatner. He walks out and hugs me in front of 2,000 people. And the first words out of his mouth when he took the mic was, wow, that was amazing, wasn't it? I should be opening for him. Obviously, the 12-year-old inside of me is like, and then yesterday, I introduced him again, and we were standing backstage, and I said to him, Bill, can I ask, is it okay if I tell them that we're friends? I don't want to presume, but is it okay if I tell them what a privilege and honor it is, not just to introduce an iconic figure, but as a childhood fan, but to tell them that we've become friends. And I was totally prepared for him to go, no, don't do that. You know what he said? He put his hand on my shoulder and he said, well, that's the best part, isn't it? So I went out and I forgot, I was so excited, you guys. I walked out and I forgot to say my own frickin' name. But I said, I just said, I've gotten the privilege to know this man from doing events with him, and he is as amazing, wonderful man as the character that he plays, that we all love. Please welcome, and he came out and hugged me again. So, okay, I took too long. See, I told you. I'm sorry. But it was an amazing experience. And he and I are going to be doing more panels together, more events together in the future. And at some point, I'm working the strategy here on how I can tell him what I'm doing, and maybe even see if there might be an opportunity that he might be interested in making a little cameo when Star Trek Continues. So if you guys keep your eyes and ears open for Star Trek, you can go to StarTrekContinues.com. We've got our cast list up. You can see everybody who's playing who and bios on everybody, and keep your eyes open for that. We're premiering the first vignettes from the series at Shore Leave in Baltimore, big Star Trek convention in Baltimore in August. Thanks for asking. I love you for that.
Strike that.
This is a question for Glenn and Vic. Have you tried about doing a duo together?
Doing what?
A duo?
You mean like the musical
Yeah.
duet?
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know if we ever...
we
Have you ever thought about it?
We never thought about it.
How about
Wait.
Duet for females.
What?
Duo for males and duet for females.
Blood romance.
Oh, I didn't know that. Duo for males, duet for females. Is that true?
That's not true. That can't possibly be true. What's a good song?
Hakuna Matata? Do the Yowie song.
Okay, Merry, Merry Christmas.
When the lights go down in the city and the sun shines on the bay, do I wanna be there, yeah, in my city? Oh, oh, oh.
How did you feel about, doing the role play for Tamaki and can you shoot out a license?
The role play? Oh, you mean how did I like playing Tamaki? Oh my gosh. He's, you know what? I could not possibly resist Ed being my favorite character of the ones that I've played. But Tamaki is a real close second. I love him. In fact, I fell in love with that show before the show was even licensed. And actors will tell you the worst thing you want to do is fall in love with a role before you get cast in that role. I mean, you might as well just jinx yourself, right? If you focus on this, oh, I want to play this character, so you might as well just forget it. You probably messed it up. You're probably not going to get to do it. But I really wanted to play him bad. And so when Funimation got the property, which made it a little more possible, and then I auditioned, and Caitlin Glass, who played Haruhi, she directed it. She's a good friend, and she had told me months earlier that she thought like Tamaki reminded her of me. And so I'm like, oh please, Lord, let me play this role. I want to play him so bad. I loved him. I loved him to death. He's one of my favorite roles to play. So, what is your name?
Sam.
Sam? Do you know the little coffee scene? You do? Okay, so you start. So Sam says, I don't know if I should drink this coffee. My father might get mad at me. And Tamaki says, what if I let you drink it from my mouth? And Sam says, then I would drink it.
Yes, standing up.
I have a question for Vic. How sad were you when both roles off the series were over?
Oh, really, yeah, that was tough, you guys. You know, when you play a character, and I know you guys would feel the same way, when you play a character for a long time, and you just really get used to loving this role and being a part of the series, and it finally ends, it's hard, it's really tough. We were really proud of the first series, and it ended, and we were glad that it ended strong. Because you know, sometimes, some series, you guys know what I'm talking about, they keep making it, even after, to try to squeeze every cent out of it they can, and it turns stupid, and it gets dumb, and it outlives its interest and its intrigue. So we were really glad, even though the first Full Metal ended, we were really glad that it ended strong, and never expected there to be more. So when the second one came along, we were filled with kind of excitement to be doing it again, but then a little bit of apprehension. I mean, what if it's not as good? What if it's just not as good? What if the animation's not as good? What if the music is lame? What if the story is lame? What if we're not as good, just for whatever reason? It just doesn't come out as good. But we were all very excited to do the second series, and the movie, Sacred Star of Milos. It was a good movie, wasn't it? But now, you know what? And somebody said to me the other day, do you think it's really over? And I said, well, I mean, we all thought it was over the first time. But it's a very, very, very popular show. And you know what? Even with the second series, they still ended strong. They didn't make it last beyond its interest. So who knows? Maybe I think it would be would be an awesome. Would be like do a new series called like Full Metal Legacy or something, and have it be like following Winry and Ed's children. That'd be cool. Like they want to become alchemists too, and there'd be a girl alchemist. That would be awesome. So anyway, okay, yes, we're sad that it was over, but we're hopeful that maybe. Pardon? Oh yes. Are you kidding? The last scene with Ed and Winry, I had no idea that was coming. No idea. And as soon as I saw the first frame, I went. Yeah, it was beautiful. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
I'm just curious for all three of you, so for Whitney, of Phil and Vic, what is your opinion of the characters that they've played, and do you have any criticisms for them?
I don't really. I think you guys are brilliant actors. And I think that you have successfully fulfilled your roles and your destiny in those roles.
If I had one note for Quentin and Vic, it would be, do more!
I have to confess that Axel is my ringtone. The short answer is no. I think we respect and admire each other's work, and I love working with. I love even meeting guys. You guys, we don't meet each other when we record unless we go to a convention together. We've not gotten to meet much at all. We kind of know who each other is, but we haven't gotten to hang out much. So the conventions are really a great opportunity and a pleasant surprise to see friends that you feel like you know because you work with, you hear their voices, become familiar with their voices, but you know, it's really fun to get to hang out with them a little bit.
And now I'm in love with Spirit.
Faux Hawk in the back?
Yes. What would you guys give as your best piece of advice to aspiring voice actors looking to set themselves apart from their competition and build their own brand?
I'm going to give you a pass on the word best in that question. Because the rest of the question was pretty good.
Well,
killing the competition works. As long as you can stay out of jail, but
pretty much. You know, I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again, training. If you can do any acting or improvisational work, that would be terrific. Get into voiceover workshops, you know. I'd say commercial and animation. And when you do, the good thing is they generally can guide you along from there and get you to the point where you can record a proper demo. I keep hearing these horns. And
yeah, they send in the clowns. Hey, fellas! It's like when you send foxes after rats.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And you know, and after you make a proper demo, then you pursue agency representation. But you got to start, you know, with those building blocks and getting in the booth and recording, getting to know how to act in front of the mic and bring life to the copy. You know, it's not just reading words on paper. It's bringing it to life, and that's why it's voice acting.
Right.
Yeah, train. Take good classes, get as much experience as you can, whether it's non-professional stuff, you know, with friends, or whatever you can get your hands on. Because the more you do, the better you'll get, or the more you'll learn at least. And that to me is the best training ground. Sing, act, take classes, just be doing something. Don't just sit around thinking, I want to be.
Right.
Be.
Right. I mean, and you know what, you guys? That applies to anything you love. You want to be a good artist? Draw. You want to be a good singer? Sing. You know, do it. Do it. You get better at everything you do the more you do it. And you know, probably 99% of the voice actors I know have a massive amount of experience acting. In fact, they never intended, in many cases, to be a voice actor. They just want to be an actor. Same with, it was that way with me, and it's that way with most of the people I know. They've done all kinds of theater and on camera in many occasions, and somebody offered them an opportunity to use their voice to act, and it was just another form of acting using a different set of tools, but it's still acting. And so they started doing that. But I can only think of a couple of guys of the 100 people that I know that voice act that have never really done any like theater acting or on camera acting. The vast majority of them have done a lot of that. So get yourself as much experience acting as you can. And you know, a lot of the other thing that I found that's very common is that a lot of people know someone who was doing it, and that person kind of got them in the door. Like, I knew Phil, and I knew Phil had this amazing voice, and so I told the producers at a studio, you should bring this guy in to audition for something. And they bring him in, he kicks butt, and then he continues working for the next 20 years. So he knew somebody who got him into an audition, but here's the important part, he was prepared. I've said this a lot of times, and I don't mean to repeat myself, but who you know may get you in the door. What you know will keep you in the room. So, be prepared.
Do we have time for one more, or should we?
One quick one.
Okay. Who's good?
Kurt.
How about the machine gun?
It's a weapon day. It's like
up for a
rifle, sword, machine gun.
Alright, this is a question for all you guys. At cons, what is the strangest thing that has ever happened to you
During a panel? Is that what you just said?
Oh, during a panel.
It would have to be the reggae ghost during the middle of Vince William Shatner. That was strange.
That was.
Had it been like the Star Trek theme come in, that would have at least made sense. But random reggae was
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? I just thought of an interesting kind of a coincidence. You just said reggae ghost, and the music was... What was the music? Who was it?
Bob Marley.
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 Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Ghost of Marley.
Dude, he totally named himself after that because he knew he was going to die.
Marley.
Ebenezer Flynn.
Marley, you got to do the right thing. You're going to be three ghosts sitting on your porch.
What are you strangest thing at a panel.
This is it, man.
That was it, you're right.
That was it.
I think the strangest thing that ever happened to me was, I mean, in a panel, there have been a lot of strange things, but in a panel, some guy, big guy, asked me if he could come up and do a line with me. And I said, sure, and he came up in front of the whole panel, and that was just a ruse. He got up near me, and he grabbed me and kissed me.
Yeah, we count that in the strange category.
Yeah. So that would be that's my contribution.
Wow.
Ben Gasmic.
So we'll be bringing Vic's bodyguards up as we close the panel.
How are we doing on time? Hey guys, listen, let me just make a quick announcement. You guys may, I don't know, as well. It's not scheduled, but I know that there are people that may still want to get some stuff signed or want to come by and say hello. So I'm just going to go ahead. I've got a photo thing at 1:30, and then at 2 o'clock, I'm going to go back to my table. It's not scheduled, but if you guys want to come by, if I haven't gotten to meet you or sign something or whatever, get a hug or a kiss.
What asked for it? You know, it wasn't the kiss, it was the deception.
That's right. Didn't have a chance to put my Carmex on. I wasn't ready. So, yeah, I'll be back down at the table. I just want to let you guys know because it's not scheduled. I'll be back down at the table at 2.
Oh yeah, I'll be back down at the table. What's it now? It's 12. Is it 1? It's 1. I'll be back down at the table at 1:30.
And I will be at the table at 1:30 as well for signings. Signings, photos, whatever you like.
You guys, you have made this an amazing weekend. Thank you. We love you.